Hello to my fellow friends in history, people with curious minds that say, if I learned something, today was a good day. Here's my question for you today. True or false? This guy, John Paul Jones, led the most important naval victories in our country's history. If you said true, I'm going to argue otherwise, but I would give you some points if you thought, wait a minute, John Paul Jones, Navy, I have not yet begun to fight. Yes. So you should give yourself credit just for knowing he's kind of known as the Navy guy, and also that he did have victories. And he did do the whole, I have not yet begun to fight. But I really think this guy, which is Benedict Arnold of all people, the most famous traitor in our history, gets credit for masterminding the most important naval victory, among the most important naval victories in our country's history. And let me explain why. So John Paul Jones, while very courageous and famous, and I have not yet begun to fight, and frankly not a traitor, all things in his favor, I think certain number of his battles are more symbolic, while this particular battle, which is the Battle of Valcour Island, turns history for American history. And so this is how Guy Carleton, he is the governor of Quebec and a major general, and he is coming down with an entire fleet of powerful ships and soldiers, and he's basically taking the same route that General Burgoyne will take 1 year hence. And he comes down and he's got this powerful fleet of about 25 ships, and like real ships. So as we said in the earlier video, if you watched it, Arnold is determined to stop him, and literally on the shores of Lake Champlain, on the shores, he hires contractors, blacksmiths, builds an entire fleet of makeshift boats, about 15 of them, and he piles them with cannons. And he goes and meets this force of British ships, which to me is kind of the best of America, right? Leaving aside the treachery for now, that scrappiness, that courage, he's going to face off like a David and Goliath kind of thing. Well, he in the battle, he doesn't win, and that's important to realize. And he actually loses about half of his ships. The ones that remain are pretty much shot up, and he's out of ammunition. And I'll tell you what happens in another video to him next, but let's talk about what happens to the British. This was enough for Guy Carleton to rethink and to think, you know what, we don't really know what we're going to meet further on. They definitely didn't expect this kind of resistance. And more importantly, it's getting late in the year, and he rethinks everything, and he turns this whole group around, and they head back to Canada. And now basically the Continental Army, you could say, has another year to grow stronger before Burgoyne will take that same march. So if you think, like I do, history is endlessly interesting, you can read the newest Kep Westguard adventure, Kep Westguard and the Second Battle of Saratoga, which is available for download free from BookFunnel for a limited time.